posted that.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
Me. Got it?
La, 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 la. Live.
Oh,
We're
we are now?
live. We're live. Hi, live. Hey, everyone. We're just testing out the microphones.
Yeah.
I hadn't put mine on yet, so.
If Scott don't smoke, or I'd be wondering
I
about
don't,
it.
don't smoke, don't drink,
So
don't do anything.
don't go with the girls that do.
No, that's a bad idea. Been down that road a long many times.
Yes. We don't smoke and we don't chew and we don't go with the girls who do.
Yep.
Good evening, folks.
Good evening.
We
folks.
are kicking back, having a fun time tonight. We're going to try and introduce some new people to a little thing called K9Pro Sports. I'll background it real quick for you. We started it in Mexico, and there's 1990. Didn't start as a sport, started as a one-time deal. Some people liked it, so it became a three-time deal. And more people liked it, so it became a international deal. And so you understand the concept. It's all about. It's about an actual, what people now call a personal protection dog. It is a way to certify that your dog is capable of doing that kind of work. It is not sport oriented at all. We didn't grow from a sport. We started it with the things I learned in my guard dog business, with the help of some other guard dog companies, with several police officers that were at the top of their profession as canine handlers. Put it all together and poof, this is what we got. So started in '93 and we kind of shut down around the pandemic time, but not before we managed to spread to several continents. They're still using a lot of the pro sports scenarios in other countries, Denmark, Australia, and we got trainers in Japan, and most of these people at one time or another came and competed in our world championships, which was a true world championships. We had several countries represented. And we're going to crack open one. We're going to go down to bring Mr. Daryl Thornton from Jackson, Mississippi up here to judge. We have certified judges. We also use two judges at our big trials. Local trials we use one, but everything is sort of set up on it's a professional dog competition as well as a certification system. You hit a certain score to get certified. We also try to work it in a way that we can make a good fun competition out of it. So you're up for two things every time you go for a trial. You're up to win the money, and I said money because we call it professional protection sports, because it is about professionalism. There's a couple of things I didn't understand when I got into the dog world after coming from the professional rodeo world. First, I didn't understand there's always one judge. In rodeo, that's what we call a brother-in-law deal. Your brother-in-law is the only one judging, so we always have two. And every major sport in the world that you think of, I've never seen any of them that have one judge. Boxing has three generally, gymnastics has a dozen. So we went with the two-judge system, so a judge can be on each side to get a clear picture of the dog. We also pay back money. You pay an entry fee, but half that entry fee goes back into the pot. And we pay out. And we get added money sometimes from sponsors. That pays out. Our richest payoff was a show in Dallas, Texas. I forget what year it was, 97 or 8. Lewis Williams out of California, excellent trainer, won that one. In the professional division, I think it was $3,500 that he walked home with. So it paid for his trip. So anyway, since we've been sort of dormant, there's a lot of things about pro sports. A lot of people never heard of it. We're going to try and inform you a little bit more. Right, Mr. Sinclair, you're gonna be jumping in agitating for us?
Yes, sir.
And think you're all up for that?
Oh, yeah. And then some.
And then some.
I got help anyway, so I'm good.
Yeah. Everything Everything we do is in a suit. We don't have targeted bites. We don't do anything that you see on a sport field, because in real life, burglars don't stick their arm out and say, "Come get me," you know. So we'll dodge the dogs. We'll esquive them, as they call it in French ring. But the thing I'm kind of most proud of is our bling. We brought some different, unique things to the world of you got that one up yet?
Nope.
Oh, don't put it up yet.
I won't.
One of the things we do. Oops, turn this one way around this way. We had an idea one time, so this is what we gave away at our championship. I forget, 2012, 10, something like that. Can you close up on that, Troy? So we've engraved swords, but the biggest thing I think that made us stand out was, again, taken from the Texas tradition and the rodeo world. We made trophy buckles. We have our own insignia on it. They're silver, genuine silver buckles. Silver. This particular one is a silver and bronze buckle that we give away at our finals for our world championship every year. You can, you get the buckle if you want it. You can win the trial. But what we do is we accumulated points at every trial throughout the year, and at the end of the year, whoever had the most points for the entire year, they got that buckle. And of course, then the trial itself, people had their own buckles and their own trophies. So we blinged it up quite a bit, I think. Our scenarios, our trials, the scenarios we go through are all set up to prove a dog's ability, the judging ability, and if you get our rule book, we can send you a PDF form. All you got to do is get in touch with me. If you send me that request for the rule book, we'll send it to you, and it breaks down each exercise. It tells you exactly how the judge judges, bang, what we're looking for in each exercise. Shoot low, Sheriff. And so when you go into trial after you've read that, you'll have an idea of exactly, there's two basic criteria. The obedience, we're looking for a dog who is aware of his surroundings and attentive to the handler. Remember that little mantra? It's real easy. So it's not a focus healing where a dog can trip. We want a dog who's aware of his surroundings so no one can sneak up on you. The bite work, what judges are looking for a dog who has the ability to intimidate first, dominate, and control the movement second and third. Simple as that. Just what it takes to survive on the street. So I guess with no further ado, we'll show what you think, Scott. You got the civil agitation. These are some old videos I just picked up. They're not examples, but just what I happened to find we still had some of. So the first exercise, we have the security division. That's what you consider mostly civilian. As a civilian personal protection dog's job is to protect the handler, everything is done on leash. Because the patrol dog, the police dog, their job is to apprehend. So they're going to be going after somebody. So their work is done off leash. Everything is designed to reflect what a dog would need to do to cover any situation and either save your butt or apprehend the felon, okay? The first exercise, and I think this is probably one of it looks real simple. I think it's the toughest exercise to do of even the sport dog stuff that they're doing. This particular one, we thought about long and hard. It took a long while for me to formulate it. But we call it civil agitation. One of the big things people talked about when I first started, when I was asked to come up with this competition, was how do you prove that the dog's not a juke junkie? How do you prove that he's not just getting excited because he sees the equipment? So that's how we came up with this, the civil agitation. So are we on there right now with that?
Yep.
So
we're upright.
We up, Troy? So what you're going to do is bring it back to, yeah, you're going to have your a little bit more. So right there, standing right there, you have your agitator. He's going to be just standing calmly, and he's going to nod at the handler. And when he nods, the handler gives the dog a command. The agitator doesn't move until the dog reacts. If the dog doesn't react, he'll go ahead and move and get him excited. But we're trying to see if this dog has that on switch that every protection dog must have to be effective on the streets. We're not going to have any equipment. We're not going to have any movement. We're not going to have any whips popping, clatter sticks clattering. We're just going to have a man standing in front of him. Sometimes we'll have 2 or 3 men standing in front of him. And we're going to, once the dog comes out, then the other thing we try to do in every trial is have every dog leave the field better than when he came on the field. So now our agitator goes into action. We're going to test to see if the dog can be intimidated. You notice right there as he raises the stick, this dog will duck his head just a little bitty bit. He's not real sure, but he comes back. So you can't say he's not quitting. He's not intimidated that much. You go in, you work the dog first with a lot of excitement. We're going to kick in the prey drive, get him really pumped up. Then we'll go back with a distraction. And when we go back with the distraction, we'll be doing it slow and easy. No quick movements to excite him. We're going to see, in this case, I think we're using a drumstick or chicken. We've used chicken. We've used tennis balls. We've used, the rule book in Pro Sports says you cannot use any distraction that is used for dogs. You have to get something that they would encounter in real life. So it has to be a legitimate distraction that you'd find on the streets. You can't have a curtain of Coke cans I saw somewhere. You got to have.
I was about to ask you, does the judge choose what object to use?
No, every club comes up with their own ideas, and we'll help them walk them through it. But yeah, every club does their own idea of what distractions to use. Usually at our finals, we use big old round steak. It's interesting.
I won't be here. Joe, you got that.
I ain't wasting that, or Scott.
Like Indiana Jones. No snakes.
No thanks. So
all right.
if the dog goes for the distraction, which this one did, your agitator, this is more for theatrics, your agitator goes in, and that's what we call a thump stick. We'll have it's 36 inches long as it can be. We have a little knob at the end, and if the agitator can go in and thump you with the stick, that's the equivalent of getting hit in the head on the street.
It's like it's counting coup.
Yeah, it's there you go, counting coup. Yeah, I thought about that. That's good. If they count coup on you, then you get a 0. But this particular exercise, we're judging the dog's response to the command and his ability to intimidate and drive off the attacker. Now you might think, okay, well, you're supposed to be all practical. If the dog goes out and acts aggressive and runs off the attacker, then he wouldn't be feeding him food, right? So why are we coming with the distraction? Because it's still a totally trained protection dog. And no, somebody on the street, once a dog jumps out trying to remove their kneecaps, will probably back down and probably not going to go look for a piece of chicken wing to throw at you. But think about your home when you leave it. And a burglar wants to get in because he knows you've got the fastest gaming computer that's ever been computed. And he wants to get in there and take it. He can come in there with a piece of steak, a chicken, a tennis ball, throw it, and send your dog packing.
Yep.
So we get to test that as well. It's all about finding as many real life situations as we can to test your dog's ability. Are they barking at Judy? You can call her. You can bring her in if you want to. So I'm running my mouth here.
Yep.
Anybody? Yep, Scott said.
Sounds good to me.
So
the intricacies of this whole what we're doing is, coming out and explaining it ahead of time and to get an idea of what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah, so, you know, and that's one day we're doing there, but there's other scenarios we do also.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then they vary. They vary from one competition to the other. So, but it's everything we do is basically street scenarios. You know, I don't think we're doing the car one this year, are we? Or this time around?
Doing what?
Like with the cars or nothing? Like we showed.
No, no.
This is more on the fields.
Right. This will be on the field. Yeah, at the big shows we'll do carjacking, and it's not a sport carjacking where the guy runs up and sticks his arm in your passenger window. If we do a carjacking, it'll be a real carjacking where we'll have a a vehicle for you.
More advanced, it seems like, wouldn't it be?
That's what?
It's more advanced than what you're doing.
It's more realistic.
More realistic.
Yeah, you know, carjackers don't go up and shove it into your dog's mouth who's sitting there in the passenger seat and can't go nowhere else anywhere. Anyway, yeah, or they'll walk up. A big favorite in El Paso when I had my guard dog company there, especially at Christmas time, is they'll hang out at the mall, and especially some poor lady, she's got her hand full of packages. She comes walking up to her car, and they wait till she pulls out the keys or hits the fob and unlocks the door. And she's got an armful of packages, and they step out from the car next to her and said, "Okay, lady," and they'll point a gun at her and say, "Throw your bags in the back seat and get out of my way." And they drive off with their car. So our scenarios, we let you think of how you want to go when you go shopping and how would you use your dog in these situations. So,
And then you get taught how to use your dog, how to handle your dog, how to handle your leash, the spacing. And there's a lot more to it than just getting in the car. So it's actually a team
right.
thing because you're training for real life.
Yeah.
You're not just training to go on the field. This is stuff you could use in real life, you know. So there's a lot to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been pushing the handlers. I like to work with the handlers. I love working the dogs, but the handlers is part of the team. And without a good handler, your dog can't excel. It probably will excel, but not to its full potential, to where you're comfortable in handling it, you know. So that's why I see it, and that's what I believe. And I've been on both ends of it. I started handling a dog before I ever put a suit on or get bit, and it's funny how when you do one side of it and you never see the other side of the fence, and you go to the other side of the fence and you can see everything ties in together, and trying to help people see that without them, because not everybody wants to get bit by a dog, right?
Right.
90% of people don't want to get bit by a dog,
Yeah.
even with a suit. I asked, "Hey, y'all want to come out?" "No, we're good, man." So so they don't want to do that. But if you can share the knowledge and the right way to do it, where it's comfortable. It's not going to be. I mean, comfortable meaning, it's not easy street, but you'll know what to do.
Right. Right.
You know.
And that brings me to another part of it. The way, so you do your first scenario, you start off with a civil agitation, and you go from there immediately. When that's done, we're going to ask you to heel some part of the field where you'll do an attack on handler, and you may have a distraction for the dog, and then the bad guy comes out and does a subtle attack on you. Show that second video, Scott. Just let them see the whole thing. So this handler's gone from standing there waiting for the civil agitation. Now has been directed to walk in another direction, and of course you see our decoy's coming out, but he's acting real calm, and then he grabs him. And the dog didn't get a chance to hear the command. The guy didn't stand back 5 feet and yell at him. Nothing like that. And it confused the dog. He didn't know which way to go. So that's, again, how we set up our scenarios to imitate real life. To give you and your dog the ability, again, you're going to get a certification from this. And we've had at least 3 cases that I'm aware of where our certified dogs have been to court over a dog bite, and 2 of dog bites. And every time they've been to court, they've been proven to be with that certification. skilled, well-trained dogs that did not bite somebody wrongly. We've had 2 cases where people were moving into apartments and had, their breed was, one was a Doberman, one was a Pit, and both cases, well, they're on the, do not dog biting list, and both times the owners had dogs that were certified, and that certification allowed them to bend the rules for the insurance company nodded and let them move in. So, it's got some standing, and one of the reasons is we are trying to set things up the way they work in real life. We do want you to understand, we want you to go to all the sports. If you want to get a Schützen-3 title, that's a big accomplishment. Go for it, do it. But if you also think you need a protection dog, we want you to know that this is where you'll get a real protection dog.
There's an avenue for this.
Yeah, it's
for
your
certification.
avenue. Yeah.
You get a Schützen dog, and you can get a dog to be a protection dog too.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason they can't do both.
Yeah.
None
But
whatsoever.
there's an avenue, certifications and licenses and everything.
And you get, I know you hear, they're trying to push it right now about crime is really down. Crime is really down. We don't have as much crime. People think we got a lot of crime, but we don't have a lot of crime statistically. Now, what a lot of people don't understand, I used to get the yearly FBI reports, try to keep up with all that stuff. The way these crimes are reported has a lot to do with whether the crime rate goes up or down. And of course, the working police chief wants the crime rate in his city to go down. So the FBI does their national report every year, but then a lot of cities do. Here's what they don't tell you. And this happened, this was just 2 or 3 days ago. I'm not going to mention the city. They had a crime report, and they said that that violent crime in this city had decreased by I think they said 2 or 3%. And then this reporter had gone the extra mile. He's interviewing the chief, and he says, well, the reporter's pretty savvy. He says, well, that's the percentage that's decreased, but have attacks on assaults gone up? Are there more assaults number-wise or less? Well, there's been more assaults numerically than there were last year. But the population has increased by, I forget, 15, 20%, whatever. So when you take the increase in the population with the number of assaults, statistically, yeah, you take an average, and statistically the number of assaults are down for this number of people. So, you guys know what life's like in your city and how many times you hear about somebody getting busted upside the head. So if you got a good CD, CDX, Och, AKC, UKC, and you want them also looking out for your family, that's why we have Pro Sports. That's exactly what it's designed to do. So, the biggie, and we try, like I said, we try to set up stuff that you can encounter in real life. The civil agitation that we invented, that we do, is unique. No one else has really ever understood it. No one who thinks they're doing a dog sport, and a lot of local clubs like to come up with their own competitions. That's great, and I'm kind of proud. A lot of them copy a lot of or get information from our exercises. But they don't understand the psychology. So example, you'll come in the field, you'll do the civil, if you're security, not patrol division, you'll come on the field, you'll do your civil agitation, then you'll be told to take a stroll through the park where you'll be attacked by a handler. But then you're through, you're off the field. But we still got the courage test to do. Now every dog sport in the world, especially the bite sports, when you come on the field, you go through and you do, in Schützen, you'll do your blind search and your courage test. You do 1, 2, 3. You do it all right in a row. Well, what that does is get your dog amped up to get a little hotter, a little hotter, a little hotter, right? And you fall into a routine. You got a pattern you can go with. That ain't the way it is in real life. You're not going to get somebody to jump up and scream at your dog, and then somebody else to shoot a gun off over his head, and then someone else to stand 20 feet away and say, "Give me your purse," and you get to send him with this dog that's all pumped up. So what we do is you'll do the civil agitation, and that's going to get him pumped, which is going to give him a bit of an advantage, hopefully, going into the attack on handler. It might confuse your dog just like that little dog. He didn't know, he'd never been in that situation where someone just poof. But you get to do those two things. But then you got to go rest, because the courage test, which comes next, you don't get to go right to it and finish it. Because in real life, like I said, you don't get this pattern. So we don't want a pattern. And number two, if you're confronted by someone who really wants to rob you or do you harm, and they got a weapon, you're going to get nervous. How good is your decision making going to be when you get nervous? We don't know, right? So when you've done these two exercises and you think you're doing pretty good, or you think, "Oh, I'm not doing as good as I thought, how do I make it up?" We're going to let you stop, let somebody else come after you, then somebody else come after them, and somebody after them. In other words, you got 20, 30 minutes to sit there and stew about it. Well, let's see, he did this okay, maybe he did that okay.
Pressure, a little pressure don't hurt.
Yeah.
Because in real life, there's still been a pressure.
Yep. That's the whole thing. Psychological.
Yep.
Even the order we run the exercises in is psychological. So now you're going to come back on the field, and we're going to throw things at you you've never seen. In this particular courage test that year, well, we used water for the very first trial in Mexico, and we've always used water ever since. Let me be clear, we do not want anyone to send their dog into water to bite somebody.
That's not too smart.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
I've seen videos with it. There's actual military training their dogs doing that.
Yeah,
It wasn't here, but
yeah.
so to me, I'm like, okay, so you send your dog to bite somebody in the water and bite somebody. He's locked on. All you gotta do is put your hand around his neck and shove his head under the water, and you've lost a very good dog.
Yeah. So don't ever send your dog to anybody that's in the water. If they're in the water, they ain't going to run away anyway. You're going to be able to get to them, okay? But there are times when there may be a stream or something that your dog has to cross to get to somebody. So this is one of our courage tests, and see how the dog thinks about this, because dogs don't like to get in the water. Whoop, that went fast.
Yeah, let me
Do it again. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Okay, so there's our agitator on top of the pond. We've got fencing, we thought, adequate going on each side of the pond.
I'm sorry.
And then he'll send the dog, and this dog,
Went around.
he jumped on the hay, which is supposed to be keeping the pond out of sight.
It passed by you pretty close.
Yep. And he didn't pay attention, a bit of attention to me. He knows where he's going. And as you can see, there's no pre-set up target. The dog just had to take what he could get. And now the fight is on.
Yep. Yep.
And obviously our decoy on the street, most people are going to fold the minute they're nailed, but we want to make sure our dog has got what it takes to work through even a fight, or especially a fight. And you can imagine, by the way, our decoy in this show, the gentleman you see there in the green and yellow is Christian from Jorgensen from Denmark. He's full-time military dog trainer, handler. Was with their special ops before he went with the dogs, so he's pretty good at what he does.
I would say so. So that's just a few things we do. So
Yeah. So that's what a pro sports trial is going to be about. So this trial coming up, we're going to go ahead. We're going to have it'll be the 20th. You can register the day of. That's fine. It's a $40 entry fee. Half of that goes back to the pot. We're going to guarantee first place in 2 divisions: security, which we went over tonight; patrol, which is, you know, the more police type, military type dog. I don't think if you think your dog's that good for that, you don't need the priming and the prepping that we're giving for the security dogs or personal protection dogs. But it'll be $200 patrol division and $200 guaranteed in the security division. We're also, you saw that buckle? Did we show the buckle at the front?
Yes, we did.
Okay, now we're not going to give away that buckle, but we will have trophy buckles. It will have the Pro Sports, what I call the Smiling Shepherd logo in bronze on it. These are silver and bronze buckles. They're pretty nice.
Yep.
They're pretty nice.
Australia said hello.
All right, who is it? Who was it?
JW.
Who?
JW.
All right, how you doing, Jay? Nice to, and Australia is another one of our favorite places. And thank you for watching. Maria, hope if you're there, Sharon, all you folks. That's the other thing we got to do. We got to travel around the world and meet some really great dog people. And
Some really great dogs.
yeah, let me tell you, there's a reason America goes to other countries like Denmark and Australia for their dogs and their information on dogs. They know what they're doing. They're pretty good. So,
Unknown caller.
whoops, unknown caller.
That was
Your girlfriend?
Nicaragua,
Yeah.
I guess. That's what the number says.
So
They love me over there in Nicaragua.
yeah. So anyway, I guess if nobody's got any thoughts, considerations, or questions,
No.
No, everybody's listening tonight.
What time Saturday?
thank you. We'll start the 10 o'clock in the morning. We'll start the trial. You can start showing up to register at any time after 8:30. We'll also have a Friday night what we call a shake and howdy. We always do that. So we'll have a little get together. We'll have some refreshments. We'll probably be catching a few dogs. Old Joey's over here. He's gonna have a suit out there if you want to get bit. Oh, and if you're interested in learning, like Scott said, there's not a lot of people that do, but if you do want to get bit by a dog and learn the right way to do it, we will be doing that on Friday night. It'll be a little agitator clinic. And if you're working in some of the other disciplines and you want to get a little bit more into the street type work, this would be an excellent chance for you to come and
What time is that?
and see there. We really all day is sort of, but officially we're going to start about 4:30, and we'll go into the night. We got lights, and anyone you're welcome to bring your dog, and
Yep. Come hang out.
yeah, and then Saturday we'll start at 10. The trial officially. We may try and put it on YouTube or Facebook. We hadn't decided yet.
We'll give it a shot.
Yep.
We can get Mr. Troy Second Wind to come out and engineer for us.
Sure.
You gonna
So-
cook? You gonna cook too? Not on grill? No. Okay.
Cool.
If you're gonna cook.
I got a grill.
Hey, I'm ready to get this done.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, don't be adding to my.
And well, you volunteered.
Yeah.
But
What do you think, Mr. Sinclair?
I think that hope everybody comes out. Bring your dog, bring your friends. Leave your ego at the door because it's all about the dogs, right? So.
Appreciate it, folks.
We'll see you next week, folks.
Yep, we'll do some more talk.